to give you Mr. Ian Crane.
Thanks, Andy. Ladies and gentlemen, my purpose tonight is not to answer the questions, because there are questions that I cannot give you the answers to. My purpose is to bring to the fore of your attention the fact that there are some very, very pertinent questions, in particular about 7-7, that need to be addressed, that answers need to be sought, and only then might we understand the true nature of what and who is behind these events. History cannot be permanently falsified. The myth cannot stand up to the scrutiny of scientific research. The sinister web will be brought into the light and torn to pieces, however artfully it has been spun. Dr. Ruchti, when he made this statement in a dissertation about the First World War and events leading up to the First World War, was coming to the conclusion that basically the man in the street in the early part of the 20th century was simply being bred as cannon fodder. And that the players behind the scenes were the ones who were truly driving a very much hidden agenda, and what was being presented to the man in the street was simply to lure him into the guns. Let's move forward very quickly. Some things don't change. Zbigniew Brzezinsky had been on the political scene in the US of A for some 35 years. He went into sort of semi-retirement when Clinton came to power. But a very powerful player. He was the individual who identified Jimmy Carter as a potential candidate, brought him to the attention of the Rockefellers, and the Rockefellers then launched a massive campaign to put Jimmy Carter into the White House. He's been a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and a founding member of the Trilateral Commission. Two bodies in America which many, many scholars believe are in effect the ruling parties, not just of the US, but setting the agenda, the political agenda, for the rest of the world. The Council on Foreign Relations, without any shadow of doubt, a very, very influential and powerful organization. Senators wince when they receive a call from the Council on Foreign Relations. Zbigniew Brzezinsky, in his retirement, wrote a book. Well, he wrote actually quite a few books, but the book I'm going to refer to is The Grand Chessboard. He wrote this in 1997. Through much of the book, he laments the fact that the US appears to have missed the opportunity. 7 years after the demise of the Soviet Empire, the US is the only superpower, however you want to use that term. And he laments the fact that the opportunity has been missed for the US to dominate the globe. In the book, on page 29, he says, the public supported America's engagement to World War II largely because of the shock effect of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. 2 years previously, the American public, or those that were interested, had been made aware that Pearl Harbor was a contrived event, that FDR had deliberately baited the Japanese into attacking Pearl Harbor. FDR had very, very clear intelligence as to the time, the date, and the magnitude of the attack on Pearl Harbor. He chose not to pass that on. The rest, as they say, is history. In terms of his desire for America to take a lead role globally, he recognizes that this is most unlikely to occur through peaceful means. So on page 211, he says, moreover, as America becomes an increasingly multicultural society, you may find it more difficult to fashion a consensus on foreign policy issues, except in the circumstance of a truly massive and widely perceived direct external threat. And in 1998, Donald Rumsfeld, representing an organization called the Project for a New American Century, wrote to President Clinton demanding that Clinton adopt an aggressive agenda towards Iraq and remove Saddam Hussein. President Clinton decided not to act on that. So the project